Let's see him. The smoke. Shalom, shalom, shalom. And all praise and glory to the Most High Power, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, for another day closer to the kingdom, another day to allow us to get it right and enjoy while we can. That's what I'm looking at. Being spiritual in the time that we have to deal with. Some going to have to deal with affliction. Not everybody, but some going to have to deal with affliction. Jacob's trouble. And that's what we want to try and avoid, but you don't know if you're going to be worthy to be avoided or not. So if not, then we still got to deal with it, right? We got to deal with it. So whatever it is, we got to be prepared for it. That's why I want to look at being spiritual and how that equates to us be able to deal with whatever we have to deal with. We have examples in the Bible to show you how we should operate, you know, and that's what's important. Other than that, we're gonna go through the same old, same old. People gonna be acting like you're not in the truth. That's how it's gonna be. People gonna be just like they never learned a scripture in their life. They're gonna be looking at whatever the Gentiles, and I say Gentiles sincerely concerning our people that, they might know they're Israelites, but they're gonna turn as the Gentiles when this thing go down. So it's very important that we as the Israelites, the ones that's really trying to make it to the kingdom and doing what the Most High say do, hey, we operate accordingly, because without it, operating as we should in the scriptures, then what we gonna look for? You gonna be like the Gentiles, like the other nations? They don't know. They don't know prophecy. We know this. So it's very important that we see this and operate accordingly because time is at hand. Time is at hand for real. You can see the things happening. Everything that happened is pointed back to us. It's always been that way. It's always pointed back to Israel, we the Israelites, without a shadow of a doubt. A lot of people can't handle it because they're not ready and they ain't gonna be ready. They looking for something to feel good all the time. And that's what you're gonna better enjoy your feel good right now. Straight up. Because when you look at being in the spirit, and to be in the spirit, you got to know what's happening, and you got to know that you got to have a certain way you got to roll, and that's why I'm trying to, that's why I talk about the Most High a lot, so that people can understand He's a man of war, and in war you have strategies of what you gonna do to survive, or you're gonna be put to death. Isn't either salvation is powers and authority. Either you're gonna be rolling to the kingdom or you're gonna be put to death, point blank. Life or death. That's the only choices we have. So you got to know how in your mind prepare yourself for you see what's going down. You know, what's going to go down because you know the past, the present, and the future. If you're in the truth, and you should know this, and you don't, you should be asking questions about how can I know more, or what do I need to know to be able to be prepared for what's going to go down. There's not going to be no excuse, man. Do we still give you an excuse when you mess up in this kingdom? No. There's a judgment. And that's how it is with the Most High, point blank. But people want to make him be like they want him to be. He's not that way. He's just the way it is, as the little that we know of him in this Bible. That's it. And Mashayach Yahawashi say, I and my Father are one. They agree. So when you run into him, they run from the Most High. No, they both agree. They're in agreement. He's not going to do anything that the Most High, he's going to tell you the angels, he's an angel right now beside the Most High, son of the Most High, trembling. Everybody's trembling before the Most High. Shoot. You serious? Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever ye do, in word or deed, do all by Mashayach Yahawashi. Give me thanks to the Most High and the Father by Mashayach Yahawashi. So everything that we say and do is going to be in the name of the Lord and Savior, Mashayach Yahawashi, my big brother, going through the Most High on my behalf and your behalf. Hopefully, if not, then hey, you have your own way of how you reach the Most High, right? And that's the way it is. I mean, it is what it is. He said, no man comes to the Father by him, and there's no New Testament. It's only the law and the prophets. So you figure. That's how people roll, And he said, I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. Because he went to the right hand side of the Most High, and he's coming to us. Those that have, he said, my sheep hear my voice. Those that hear his voice. Those that don't, then hey, you just on your own. That's why you got to look for certain things to be able to identify yourself in the truth or dealing with, mainly history, this story, that story, this story, that story. But spiritually, people are not there, because you got to look at certain things that are not visible, not to be seen, that are tangible to those that are in the spirit, and those things materialize like an angel. He's not going to just pop up and all of a sudden, here he is right there standing 8 feet, 10 feet tall, unless he decides to show himself as visible. Other than that, they're invisible. Look at Colossians 1:14. So Mashayach Yahawashi, in whom we have redemption, Colossians 1:14, through his blood, through Mashayach Yahawashi blood. We are the 12 tribes of Israel, in whom we, the 12 tribes of Israel, have redemption through his blood and even the forgiveness of sins, because his commandments were given only to the 12 tribes of Israel, and sins the transgression of the Most High's laws, who is the image of the invisible power. Hear that? The Most High is invisible. The invisible power, the firstborn of every creature. That's the Mashayach Yahawashi. For by him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible. So when you're talking about the invisible, the visible you can see. And some people don't have confessions or testimonies of things that have happened in their life being in the truth that are visible or not being in the truth, that are invisible or that's visible that you see that's phenomenon, chariots, beings that the Most High made, that are not visible to the average person. They have never seen it. They're showing you certain things on the internet. Certain things I've seen that was visible that became invisible. They became invisible to visible to invisible. Put it like that. So growing up, I seen all kinds of things. We end up calling them shadow people. They called her a witch that was on Wantel Williams. They called her and they asked her, what are these uh shadow, call them shadow people. What are these shadows on the wall? Some of y'all might not have ever seen that, but I grew up seeing that all my life. A lot of people, they're testimonies to that. They'll give testimony to that. They shadow people. That's what we call them. These shadows on the wall, moving. You wake up, you see a shadow on the wall, just like a person. You look up, you put the cover over your head, go to sleep, get used to it. I mean, he made things visible and invisible, certain things happen, that are phenomena. You have to be ready for this because he made things visible and invisible. Can you relate to that? It's very important because some people can't relate. Some people cannot relate because they haven't seen anything. So when you see things, you're going to bug out like they did in Egypt. Most likely going to make him a name. Y'all got to understand this. It's going to be better than, it's going to be so powerful that everybody going to bow down to the Most High. He going to get him a name, y'all. So he made things invisible and visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by him and for him. So you got many things as he created on this earth, not just whatever we can see. A lot of things they're exposing now that has already been here. So that's why I would say you got to be spiritual to be able to deal with what it is that's coming up. Because it's in the making. You can see it right in front of your face unless you're just blind. I mean, the KKK coming out, Aryan Nation, all these people, everything that's happening is our fault. Why it come back to us? We're not doing mass shootings and all that, but it still come back to us. We gotta wake up to this. So get Proverbs 24 and 10. Proverbs 24 and 10. So you can't be weak. You gotta man up. You can't be weak. Look at this. Proverbs 24 and 10. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. You hear that? If you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. So what you think? I've seen brothers run or not do anything when it's time to fight. Just stand there. If you faint and talk all that madness, they just that the third, whatever. But he said, Proverbs 24 and 10, if you faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. Big bad Israelite, but when it came down to get down, they didn't get down. They stayed still or they ran. We got brick straight up. Big old bricks like this, big old like boulders, marbles, and bricks that size, and rocks that size. Brother talking all that stuff. He loved this, he loved that. Ran. Pew. Ran. If thou faint in the day of adversity, thy strength is small. If you faint during the time that we got to go through what we got to go through, your strength is small. No matter what you say, it's about what you do. Look at verse 16. For a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Hear that? A just man falleth 7 times and rises up again. Sure, we go down, certain things happen to us, but you rise up again. Brothers that taught me the scripture, where they at? Rise up again. Don't ever give up. Don't give in. Don't ever give up. Ever give up, y'all. Where you going? Where you going to run from the Most High? You going to run from the air? You going to run from the sky? You going to run from the judgment of the Most High? Where you running to? That's why I say, man, a just man falleth 7 times and rises up again. Got to rise up again. Seven other completion, number of completion. So what? You know, in the end, you're gonna win the battle because of Mashayach Yahawashi told you. Matthew the 24th chapter, he told us this. He the word of the Most High. What did he say? Matthew 24 and 13 told us this. He said, but he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. You got to endure until the end. Whether it's the end of your life or it's the end of this world that we in now. You got to endure, y'all, to be saved. Saved from what? Luke 1:68. What you got to be saved from? I'm talking about y'all saved. How would they teach you in the church? What you saved from? From my sins, because Jesus nailed my sins on the cross, and he was hung on a tree. See how they just regurgitate what it is that somebody has said? They look for, I hope you're not like that. I hope you read, going over these scriptures, look at these lessons and studying for yourself to be proved, because you got to know, got to really know. Luke 1:68, blessed be the most high power of Israel, the most high power of Israel. For he who is the most high has visited and redeemed his people, right? And have raised up an horn of salvation. That's Proverbs from the 30, y'all. For us, the 12 tribes of Israel, in the house of his servant David, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that had the spirit of a Mashayach. That we, who? The children of Israel, his people, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. That's being saved. That's salvation right there, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us, to perform the mercy promised to our fathers, and to remember his holy covenant, his holy contract, his holy agreement, his laws, statutes, and commandments that he only gave to the 12 tribes of Israel. You know, I see these Christian sanities, people trying to bring everybody into that covenant. That covenant is a special covenant, a special agreement, contract that he only made with the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel. No one else. No one else. Go to Job, the 4th chapter. Only the Israelites. This our book. But everybody taking our book and trying to put themselves in it. And that's why they can't deal with nationality. You know, and the Bible deals with nationality. Job 4 and 5. Job 4 and 5. But now it is come upon thee, and thou faintest. It touches thee, and thou art troubled. You know, these battles are trials that come upon us, you know? And you can't get weak, but you get weak. You got to be strong. You know, you're suffering, you get angry. You go through something, you get angry. But you got to realize things will change for the better because you're here now. No matter what you went through or we went through before, we here now. And I give all praise to the Most High, Mashayach Yahawashi, because no matter what I went through, whatever I've been through, whatever you've been through, you're here now. If you're here, and you have your right mind to be able to listen to what the scriptures are saying, and you understand, man, thank the Most High. Because a lot of people can't even understand. They have no clue, and you do. Man, that's such, you don't know, I did a lesson on the calling, our calling, man. It's nothing like this, nothing like our calling, period. I mean, this is high powered, man. I mean, but now it is coming to thee, and thou faintest. It touches thee, and thou art troubled. So is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope? and the uprightness of thy ways. Talking to Job, you know, trying to bring some understanding to him. You're sure you're going through what you're going through. You can't faint, you know. A lot of people haven't been touching of it. And understand this. You got to understand, because the Most High told us in Isaiah, especially you that's, newcomers, you just been in the truth for a little while. It don't matter how long you've been in it. It don't matter, really, because I'm still being jacked. So no matter how long you've been in the truth, you still got to go through this. And how you got to go through it, that's your own personal going through it from the Most High. Look, Isaiah 48:10, it says, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. You hear that? I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. Hold that, because he told us in Hosea 5:15. Hold that. He said he chose in the furnace of affliction, right? Hosea 5:15. What does it say? I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense. See, we offended the Most High. And you got to look at how you cannot offend him. That's why, the Spirit brought to me not to be saying Lord, which is Baal. And it's been coming this way and that way. It's been, being brought to my attention. You bring things out in the Spirit, and things start to come to validate whether or not it's right or wrong. At least for me, I don't know about for anyone else. That's why I'm bringing it to the nation. I'm talking to the leaders of our nation. You're not a leader, tell your leader to listen to this and look at what it's saying so we can get together, man, and stop offending the Most High. They got a problem with that. Hey, you got to take it over to the Most High. For real, for real. I'm telling you, there's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of living power. That's Hebrews 10 and 31. I bring it out every time. There's a fearful thing to fall in the hand of living power. So if you got a problem with what I'm saying, you got to take it over to the Most High, because look what he said. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense. Now, you think you're in offending way the Most High somewhere or another, and we have sinned, and seek my face, because he turned his face away from us. Why? Because we broke his laws. We didn't do what he said do. And we don't consider him, and anybody really talking about him, exalting him, y'all talking about all praises now. Come on. That's offensive. You don't think so? To who? The Muslim God? The Hare Krishna God? These religions gods? They ain't dealing with the Most High power, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob being the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar, our nation. Who he just said, he said the power of Israel, right? So how is they dealing with him? They ain't dealing with him. They'll be talking about, yeah, he's the power of the 12 tribes of Israel, just like I just named them. That's what they will be doing. You understand? He said, I will go to and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense. How we offended the Most High. You got to think about that. They're not offend him and seek my face, because he turned his face away from us. Say, I'm going to see what your end going to be without me. In their affliction, that's why I'm here. In their affliction, you hear that? In their affliction, they will seek me early. Come on. The Most High chastising us, and he dealing with people, checking them for whatever they've done wrong. And here we is still dealing with, just looking at Israel. Israel. So I ain't talking about the Most High. Enough, I'll say. I'm talking about him alone. Scripture that pertains to just him. I kill, I make alive. I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. This is who I am. Both on the Most High. Like I said, hey, he just gave me this one. I mean, I love it. Man. Ecclesiasticus 43 and 30. Y'all better hear what he's saying. He said, when you glorify the Most High, and they put Lord there, which is Baal. Lord is Baal, no matter how you look at it. They put it in the Bible. That's their God. That's their idol. That's their deity. And the ones that publish the Bibles put it in there. And here we are going to look at what name they call it, and they call their God in Hebrew. And then we're going to translate it from their God in Hebrew to our God, which is not our power. It's their power. It's just we named their power in our language of Hebrew. You know, he said, when you glorify the Most High, exalt him as much as you can. You hear that? So I'm going to go to my place till we acknowledge our offense and seek his face. In our affliction, we're going to seek him early. He said, when you glorify the Most High, exalt him as much as you can. For even yet will he far exceed. No matter how much we exalt him, even yet will he far exceed. And when ye exalt him, put forth all your strength. All praise to the Most High. Get out of here. He said, when you exalt him, he said, put forth all your strength and be not weary, for ye can never go far enough. Man, I don't understand y'all. Man, that's our power. He the one that's going to determine when this world going to end. When we got next. Who else? It's him. He the one going to determine that. That's why we got to lock in, man. He said, I will go and return to my place, Hebrews 5:15. Till they acknowledge their offense. How we offended the Most High and seek my face, because he turned his face away from us. In their affliction, he said, they will seek me early. But y'all think y'all rolling in the spirit with him? You ain't rolling in the spirit of him. You ain't rolling in the spirit. If you ain't looking at how we as a nation have offended him and how we're going to get out of this. How we going to get out of this captivity that we in? Jeremiah 15:11. Jeremiah 15:11. The Most High said, verily, truly, it shall be well with thy remnant. Verily, verily, truly, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. You think that's talking about everybody? You think he gonna allow the wicked ones of Israel to fulfill what he's saying right here? I don't think so. You hear what he said? That's why it's important to know how to please him and not offend him, because the ones that don't learn not to offend him and exalt him as much as they can with all their strength, you got an opportunity. The Most High said what he said. Verily, I mean, truly, it shall be well with thy remnant, with the remnant, the chosen, the few, the all, which is a certain number, which is that 1/3 of 12 tribes of Israel, the sanctified, the glorified, the election, the elect, all these names that the Most High put in, which represent the remnant. Look, the Most High said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. That's not everyone. Verily I say, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil. We're in the time of evil, y'all. And in the time of affliction. And he said, in your affliction, you're going to seek me early, but he's going to have the enemy to entreat some of us well that are part of the remnant in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. Look at the status. Revelation 12:17. Revelation 12:17. Just their plan, man. You see it in manifold in your face right now, unless you in some kind of bubble, some kind of, I don't know what to tell you where you at, but it tell you this. Look, and the dragon, which is the devil, the serpent, the beast, Satan, Esau, the Edomites, all of them. And the dragon was wrought with the woman. The woman represents Israel symbolically, and went to make war with the remnant. You hear this? They're going to make war with the remnant of her seed. That's the remnant. That's a 1/3. Ones I just named, that's in the Bible, the sanctified, the glorified, the few, all of these ones, the remnant, the elect, the election, all these names that are called in the Bible for us, that remnant, that 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel. Hear what it said? And went to make war with the remnant of her seed. which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashayach Yahawashi. But what did the Most High say? What did he just say? Did y'all hear what he just said? Or maybe you didn't. You heard what he said. They coming after the remnant. They're coming after us. Do the Catholic Church keep the commandments of the Most High? Baptists, Jehovah's Witness, Seventh-day Adventists. I mean, and have the testimony of a Mashayach Yahawashi, the true testimony of a Mashayach Yahawashi. That's us. That's us. Straight up. That's why it's very important to find a way to please the Most High and not offend him. You can't do nothing. You can exalt him as much as you can with all, like he said, all your strength. I don't know what y'all heard. I heard what he said. He said, with all your strength. Jeremiah 15:11. Ain't gonna be for everybody. This not for everybody. Everybody ain't gonna see this. He coming after that remnant. Because we got next forever and ever and ever. But he did say this. In Jeremiah 15:11, the Most High said, verily it shall be well with thy remnant. Hear that? Verily, truly, I will cause the enemy to entreat thee well in the time of evil and in the time of affliction. See that? When the Most High said he will go to his place until we acknowledge our offense and seek his face. In our affliction, we gonna seek him early, right? So, like you said, he told us also in that's why it's important to examine what it is that's necessary so that you could be treated well. We could be treated well and not have to deal with what it is that everybody else will have to deal with. He said in Second Ezra 2:26, Second Ezra 2:26, as for the servants whom I have given thee, he gave us to the enemy, so white man, at this time, because we broke his laws. Remember Deuteronomy 28:68? And the Most High shall send thee into Egypt, captivity, slavery, and bondage. Again, another time with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there, when we go on these ships, you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen, slave men, and bond women, slave women, and no man shall buy you. Nobody's gonna get us out of, redeem us out of the condition that we in, except for Mashayach Yahawashi, when he come in the power of the Most High. As for the servants whom I have given thee, who the servants? Y'all should know how to define the servants by now. Anybody want to participate? Type it in the text. Hey, Johanna, Shalom. It says, who the servants? Anybody have a scripture for who the servants are? That's why it's very important. I'll give you the definition of these words in the scriptures. It's very important to at least go over your notes, to be able to take notes, to know how to read your Bible. Other than that, y'all just coming in here acting like I'm some preacher or something, preaching, and y'all just listen to me regurgitate what I say. No, you ain't gonna. It's too much to regurgitate. 3 hours of teaching, you ain't gonna regurgitate no 3 hours of teaching. Some things you're gonna miss. That's why I'm asking you about, the scripture and knowing what it is to define the servants. Well, Isaiah 44:1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen, right? That's one scripture that proves that we are the servants. So when you see servant or servants, it's talking to us, the Israelites, to our tribes of Israel. So now going back to 2 Ezra 2:26, as for the servants who are the Israelites, to our tribes of Israel, whom I have given thee, he's talking to our captives, our oppressors, there shall not one of them perish. This is what we want to be. For I will require them from among thy number. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. You hear that? He said, thou shalt be merry and have abundance. It's not for everybody. That's why it's important to want to be here. That's what the objective is. It should be. And after this, our name being written in the book of life. No more important than that. That's the ultimate. But you want to make sure that you hear. It says, be not weary. But when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. It says, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee. Who said it? Said the Most High. Hear what he said? The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee. Said the Most High. All praise to the Most High. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. The damnation, man. Don't that sound great? You better ask somebody. That's real. So now, but we still got to go through Isaiah 48 and 10. We ain't escaping it. We not escaping this. He said, behold, he said, Isaiah 48 and 10, behold, I have refined thee, but not with silver. I have chosen thee in the furnace of affliction. In our affliction, we're going to see humility. So he chose us in the furnace of affliction. For my own sake, even for my own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? We have his name in our name. You know, Yasha Allah. You see? Jeremiah. You know what I mean? Yah. Isaiah. I mean, everything we look at, regardless you go to the Hebrew, it's still gonna be Yah in it, right? You say, for my own sake. That's the Most High sake. Even for my own sake will I do it. For how should my name be polluted? And I will not give my glory unto another. That's why I say, hearken all the time unto me. Say, listen to him. Oh, Jacob, that's talking to us. We Jacob. That's our forefather, Jacob. And Israel, my called. You hear that? My called. He ain't called nobody else. Say, my called. I am he. I am the first. I also am the last, man. Let you know, huh? Can't be weak. You gotta be strong. Um, Daniel 10, the 10th chapter. Daniel 10, 18. Look. Um, look, let's go up because you just see this because start 14. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people, us. Talking about us in the latter days, in the last days. Yeah, give me a like and subscribe to the channels and hit the bell so you know whenever we coming on. It says, now I am come to make thee understand, verse 14, Daniel's 10th chapter. What shall befall thy people? We the 12 tribes in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. Yeah, we in the last days now. And when he has spoken such words unto me, the angel, as the Most High always, send the angel. I believe it's Gabriel talking to Daniel as a messenger. Or it might be Micah. I don't know. Let me see. Nevertheless, we know that he speaks to us through the angels. So it says he given him what's going to happen to us in these last days. He said, now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people, talking about the Israelites, in the latter days. For yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb. Hear that? This angel before him. He put his face on the ground, he became dumb. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake, and said unto him that stood before me, O my power, by the vision my sorrows are turned unto me, and I have retained no strength. Hear that? But everybody ready to deal with angels, things that Mashayach Yahawashi made that was visible and invisible. Invisible. Something just touching you. Scared them. For how can the servant of this my powers talk with this my power? For as for me, straightway, there remaineth no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. He said, I'm about to die. I'm so scared, I'm about to die. Then there came again and touched me, in one like the appearance of a man, and he strengthened me and said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not. You know, these are examples we have to know how not to fear, not to be afraid. Don't faint. Don't be scared. Don't let your heart. I mean, some people will die. Some people are gonna die of heart attack, scared to death, but they macho as ever. They so big and bad, but no sooner they see something phenomenal, they ain't never seen nothing phenomenal, they're gonna faint. They're gonna just heart might bust. Look, and said, "Oh man, greatly beloved, fear not. Peace be unto thee. Be strong." Now we gotta be strong. Yeah, be strong. Hear that? Said it again. Say, be strong. Yeah, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened and said, let my power speak, but thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? And now will I return to fight with the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Grecia shall come. Who is that? Alexander the Greek. Doesn't notice who's coming. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scripture of truth. And there is none that holdeth with me in these things, but Michael, your prince. See, that's Michael. So that's Gabriel. That's Michael. He said, who's holding on these things is Michael, the archangel of war. And those things, straight up. So that cleared that up right there. So now, look at 2 Timothy 1:7, because you know we got to go through something. You can't be afraid, can't be scared. You can't. So I say you got to take you rolling in the spirit. And how you gonna do when adversity comes? 2 Timothy 1:7. That's why I say a lot of people haven't been through a lot to be able to know how to deal with a lot that's coming. I mean, you can see it. I mean, they're coming out of woodworks now, back and forth. You know, it says in 2 Timothy 1:7, for the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear. The Most High give us the spirit of fear. So if you don't give us the spirit of fear, where does spirit of fear come from? From the devil. The Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. That power is spiritual power. Spiritual power. Shalom to God. It says, but the Most High has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. And you see power in the Bible, that's talking about spiritual power. And of love. And that love is the keeping of the Most High's commandments. 2 John 6. This is love. 2 John 6. 2 John the 6th verse. 2 John 6. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that, as ye have heard from the beginning, ye should walk in it. So when you give us a spirit of fear, man, 2 Timothy 1:7. For the Most High have not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, spiritual power, and of love, of keeping his commandments, and of a sound mind. And when you keep commandments, you develop a sound mind without a shadow of a doubt. That's why you can't be walking around depressed, man. Not if you got faith in the Most High. Come on. Better understand. First John, all you out there that's fearing, scared, and all that stuff, man. 1 John 4:17. 1 John 4:17. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Hear that? This is how our love is made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment. Because as he is, so are we in this world. You hear that? As a Mashayach Yahawashi came and been an example of us how to be, so are we in this world now. He went through all kinds of things. We're going to go through things. I'm going to just say you're going to be dipped in a fiery furnace of affliction. So, hey, deal with it. Say there is no fear in love. You hear that? You doing what the Most High say, dude? There's no fear in love. You ain't got to be afraid. You ain't got to be scared. In love, keeping his commandments. You heard what he said you're going to do? The song, they got to go through all the things that everybody else don't have to go through. There was no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear. You hear that? When you perfectly follow the commandments of the Most High, you ain't gonna have no fear. Cast out fear, because fear have torment. You hear that? You scared, you gonna be tormented. You're gonna be tormented. Shalom, Ariana, Israel. You're gonna be tormented. There was no fear in love, but perfect love casts out fear, because fear may have torment. You scared, you tormented. Torment yourself. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. He that feareth is not made perfect in keeping the commandments of the Most High. Straight up, as it is written. Look at Job, the 3rd chapter. Job, the 3rd chapter. Messiah wants some real soldiers. Job 3:25 and 26. Job, the 3rd chapter, verse 25. And fear, when you're scared, that causes doubt. That causes doubt, and you doubting the Most High. You can praise him all you want to, but when it comes, you get that fear, you tell him, hey, Most High, you got this. By so much like I was shot, he got it. Job 3:25. For the thing which I greatly feared is come upon me, and that which I was afraid of is come unto me. I was not in safety, neither had I rest, neither was I quiet, yet trouble came. See? Is he operating the right perspective? Is he operating in the right perspective with what we just went over? I don't think so. But this is what happened. That's why I'll tell you about cats that ran. Things have changed. Time to get down, they ran. They was all about, or so hardcore, this, that, and the third, they ran. Or they just stood there and didn't do nothing. I've been through a lot. In the truth and out of the truth. Everyday life, seeing. People talk a lot of stuff, come down, get down, didn't get down. Wisdom of Solomon, 17. In time, there'll be an answer. Wisdom of Solomon, 17-12. Wisdom of Solomon, 17-12. For fear is nothing else but a betraying of the secures or safety which reason offereth, and the expectation from within being less counter the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment. Because like we just read, it brings torment, and fear is designed to trick you, really, into deceit. You hear what I said? Fear is designed to trick you into deceit. that have you thinking wrong, have you, you know, you're lied to because you're hearing what it says as far as how we're supposed to operate. And then when you look at your own mind coming in, you ain't think about what the scripture has said. So therefore, you can't apply the scripture in your life. So therefore, you're going to deal with torment. You're going to be dealt with because of the fact that you're not following what he say do. It's simple, you know. He say, do not, most high do not give us the spirit of fear, but of power, spiritual power. So when people talking about the spirit, you don't got this spiritual power from the Most High. How you in the spirit? Talk to me. He said, and of a sound mind, you know, and of love, keeping of the commandments. You can't get away from that. That love is keeping of the commandments. That's why I went to the one that says love is the keeping of the commandments. You can't get away from that. Point blank. Everybody want to run from the covenant. Y'all talking about the covenant, the New Testament. The New Testament, the Testament is a covenant that he gave to only the 12 tribes of Israel, his laws, statutes, commandments. You ain't gonna run from that. You can't run from that. It ain't for everybody. It's only for the Israelites, period. I see everybody trying to grab and everybody else to come into the covenant. No, it's for the Israelites. It's for us only. And we sitting around looking, trying to bring somebody else in. We even made it ourselves. Which one of you made it already? Ain't none of us made it. We don't know what's going to happen for tomorrow. There's more before this day is over. You know what I mean? We don't know nothing. We just got to continue to work hard as we can to make it and do whatever we can do to please the Most High and have a relationship with Him. You know, fear is designed to trick you in deceit. You know, that's why there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be saying they're going to fall right into this. Jeremiah 16. They're going to fall right into this in 19. In the end, they're going to be saying, oh, Most High, oh, Mashayach Yahawashi, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction. The Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. So what they're going to be saying? Straight up. Because they inherited lies. And that's what happens with fear. When you fear and you listen to somebody, you don't want to do the work yourself, then you're looking for somebody else to do the work for you. You ain't no different than people in the church. They don't read their Bibles. They want the preacher to get up there and tell them what the Bible says. And them telling them, that's why I call them Christian insanity, because they become very stupid people. That's what it comes from the word creature, you know? Extremely stupid person, because they don't, when you'll say, what does this mean? What does that mean? This mean as far as dealing with understanding of the Bible and precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line upon line, here a little and there a little. They don't have that. They're not taught like that. That's why it's hard for them to understand. You gotta understand, this calling is the highest calling you could be called into. To understand this Bible, it's the highest calling you could be called into. What's more important than the word of the Most High? Nothing. Him? He's there. Where you gonna find him at? Anywhere else? Like you find him in this Bible? Nowhere else. Um, we're going to Second Ezra, the 10th chapter. Second Ezra, the 10th chapter. So y'all gotta look at having your mind ready for the time to come. I always say you gotta be ready so you don't have to get ready. Second Ezra 10 and 15. Look what it say. Now therefore, keep thy sorrow to thyself. Whoa. Keep your sadness to yourself. Don't even bring your sorrow around me. He said, he would have said, now therefore, keep thy sorrow to thyself, and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. I mean, he said, keep your sorrow to yourself, and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. Always compete. You got those complainers. Oh, woe is me, woe is me. Most High said what? Ecclesiasticus 2 and verse 4. What did he say? He said, whatsoever, no matter what it is, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. And this works, it's spiritual. That's why people are not spiritual. That's why he said, get your sorrow away from me. Deal with it. He said, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully. And be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. This works, y'all. This works. Not no woe is me, woe is me. Come on, man. That don't work. No, that's not what the Most High want us to do. That's why you want to be spiritual. You say, hey, look at Ecclesiasticus 1:11. It said the fear of the Most High is honor and glory and gladness, fear of him. Not fearing anything else. Remember, don't give us the spirit of fear, but he gives us the spirit of fear. Him only. The fear of the Most High is honor before the Most High, and glory before the Most High, and gladness before the Most High, and a crown of rejoicing. Come on. It says, the fear of the Most High maketh a merry heart. See? You ain't all been out of shape. The fear of the Most High maketh a merry heart when you in the spirit with him, and giveth joy and gladness and a long life. You got to do what he say do. Whoso feareth the Most High, it shall go well with him at the last. That's the remnant that he going to have the enemy to be well entreated with. You hear what he said? Whoso feareth the Most High, it shall go well with him at the last, and he shall find favor in the day of his death. Come on. Can't be no better than that. To fear the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. Wisdom is the proper application of knowledge. Knowledge is the gathering of the information, and how you apply that information in your life. Once the book is closed, now you learn and you got to apply this in your life every day. And it was created with the faithful in the womb. You hear that? The fear of the Most High is the beginning of wisdom. It was created us being created in our mother's womb, man. From our daddy's seed to our mother's womb is created, man, in the womb. 16, to fear the Most High is fullness of wisdom, and filleth men with her fruits. Verse 18, to fear the Most High is a crown of wisdom, making peace and perfect health to flourish, both which are the gifts of the Most High, and it enlarges their rejoicing that love him. You can't love him. He said 1 John 5:3, but it's the love of the Most High that we keep his commandments, and commandments are not grievous. You can't love him, you don't do what he say do. That's why you got to learn them, you got to live them, you got to apply them in your life when that book is closed. Verse 21, the fear of the Most High driveth away sins. How sin's going to be driven away if you don't know what sin is? Talk to me. How sin's going to be driven away if you don't know what sin is and the transgression of the Most High's laws, and you still walking around like you in whatever religion you came out of and think you know what it is that you're supposed to be knowing. You can read from Genesis to Deuteronomy, at least, to know the laws of the Most High, or type in YouTube, Freestyle Wine, space, going over the laws. And it'll come up. You can go over the laws. I went over the laws. We're going over the laws. Many lessons I went over the laws, going over the laws. Or I have a whole list of, topics that, if you need, you can get, just go in there and type them in and go over them. The fear of the Most High, verse 21, the fear of the Most High driveth away sins. And where it is present, it turneth away wrath. The fear of the Most High driveth away sins. And where it is present, it driveth away wrath. Man, you doing what he say do? You afraid? You scared of him? You gonna do what he say do? Because people think fear of the Most High means reverence. You can't reverence him if you don't really be afraid and scared of him. You see how Daniel fainted, he was ready to die just from an angel. How you gonna deal with the Most High when the angels, those same angels are trembled before him? Think about it. But everybody want to do it in a way that they want to do it, how they want to do it. We have no reason to not have faith in him. And if you hear my voice and you have been called to learn these scriptures and to learn who you are, who the Most High is first and foremost, and who Mashayach Yahawashi is, then it's such a blessing, such a blessing. Because just look at how many people, our family members and associates and people that we meet, they don't know anything about what this Bible really talking about. Look at Romans the 8th chapter and verse 26. You cannot be, and you can't allow yourself to become really doubtful or unfaithful, or what can I say, depressed, either. Behind, like, where you might think I am and where you're not in the spirit, because some of you guys, everybody got to grow in their own way. The Most High, he tells you that. I'll give you some great info on that too. But Romans 8 and 26. Likewise, the Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. You see? The Spirit also helpeth our infirmities. But we know not what we should pray for as we ought. But the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. Come on. You hear that? The Spirit making intercession for us with groanings that cannot be uttered. I mean, that's so sad that we can't even utter it. And we think we're sad. No, not like the Spirit that speaketh for us. It says this, but the Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. And he that searches the hearts, searches the minds, knoweth what is the mind of the Spirit, because he maketh intercession for the saints according to the will of the Most High. You see? And we know the saints are Psalms 148:14. You should know that by heart, class. That should be automatic, defining the saints, because people will read the Bible and they'll come in our face like it's talking about them. And they'll use the scriptures like these. That's why I say, when you look at righteousness, saints, and all the different definitions I've given you as far as how to define these words in the scriptures, then that makes more sense when you get to the New Testament. Psalms 148, or wherever you at, Psalms 148:14 defines who the saints are. They make intercession for the saints. Now, that's not everybody, or they have to put themselves in here as being the saints. It says he also exalted the horns of power of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, who we are people near unto him. Praise ye the Most High. So that's defines the saints, the children of Israel. So it's not making intercession for no other nation. The Spirit's not. Or show me a scripture where it says the Spirit making intercession for any other nation, except for the 12 tribes of Israel. Because I can show you Romans talking to Israelites. Romans 1 and 7. To all that be in Rome, Romans 1 and 7. All that be in Rome, be beloved of the Most High. Oh, who the beloved of the Most High? Baruch 3:36. Who the beloved of the Most High? Let's find out. Baruch 3:36. He have found all the way of knowledge, and have given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. You see? And that's how nobody could gainsay on this, because they could try to go here, there, wherever, but it said clearly Israel, his beloved. The Most High is beloved. So when it says in Romans 1:7, to all that be in Rome, beloved of the Most High, first and foremost, you know that's Israel, his beloved, called to be saints. Come on, we just defined the saints, even of the children of Israel, who we are people near to the Most High. Praise ye the Most High. Praise the Most High. Can you say that? Praise ye the Most High. Huh? Grace to you and peace from the Most High, our power. The Most High, the power of who? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, who was Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Asher, and Issachar. If you're not of those 12 tribes, he is not your power. Not the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Come on. And the grace is only given to the Israelites. And peace from the Most High, our Father, and a Mashayach Yahawashi, point blank. That's our power. So that's what we're looking at, y'all. Rolling in the spirit with the Most High and dealing with whatever it is. You take it cheerfully. And it works. It's spiritual, though. A lot of y'all got attitudes, man. You better get off of that. Let the Most High said, hey, he the one going to rise up to the prey. I had to learn that myself, you know. Look, go to Isaiah 61. And verse 3. That's what he going to point us. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, and oil of joy for mourning. Hear that? And we done a lot of mourning as a people. The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. That sound good? That they might be called trees of righteousness, the planet of the Most High, that he might be glorified over and over again. I like that. Don't you like that? Don't it sound good? To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion. Zion represents the 12 tribes of Israel, y'all. That's who we are. We're the 12 tribes of Israel. We're Zion. For real, for real. It says what? To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes. Ashes. Beauty for ashes. Something that's burned up, gonna be beauty for ashes. Ashes, beauty. Beauty gonna appear, right? The oil of joy for mourning. Ain't gonna be no more, look, ain't gonna be no more sadness. Ain't gonna be no more sadness. Oil of joy for mourning. The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. A garment that's gonna be a praise, a garment that we're gonna put on gonna be praise. Praise of the Most High. You know? I mean, what kind of garment that's gonna be? Think about it. A garment, if we make it, man, a garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness. See, that's why I say, going back to righteousness, Psalms, it's closest by Psalms 119, 172 defines righteousness. My tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. You see? So, gonna have the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness. Hear that? Trees of righteousness. The planet of the Most High, that he, the Most High, might be glorified. So you better get a head start and start glorifying the Most High, praise the Most High. Talking about some all praises. APTTMH, man. Y'all better hear what he's saying. That he may be glorified. You remember we read, he can't be exalted enough, man. He can't be praised enough. For real, for real. and they shall build the old waste. They shall raise up the former desolation, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolation of many generations. And strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your bin dressers. You hear that? You ready for that? That's these other nations. You know, y'all talking about this coming up talking about strangers. That's what they're gonna do in the kingdom. Those that learn the ways of the children of Israel, what we're teaching. But ye shall be named the priests of the Most High. Men shall call you the ministers of our power. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, these other nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land they shall possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. I mean, he's telling you what's happening. He told us we're gonna build up Isaiah 60:10 told you we're gonna build up everything, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. He said, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Oh Lord God, praise the Most High. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually. They shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles, and that their kings may be brought. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish. Yeah, those nations shall be utterly wasted. That's the kingdom. Ready for that? That's what's written. You know, they have to make it mean something different. They'll go to deep depth to try, but it is what it is. It's self-explanatory. Just reading it. Matthew, the 26th chapter, verse 41. Matthew 26:41. Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. Watch and pray, yo. That ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. That flesh will make you be fearing and being weak and so forth. That's why you gotta, it's a battle. That's why you gotta fight against it to be able to, and most people can't because they'll allow their little fleshly spirit to overtake the spirit. You learning all this, how to be, and this, you know, once the book is closed and something happens, next thing you know, you in your flesh, you in your feelings. That's why Galatians 5:16. This I say then, walk in the spirit. Walk in the spirit. And ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. But if you don't walk in the spirit, if you ain't thinking about what the Most High has given you as being one of the called, I can't call myself a chosen, but I know I'm called, and I know you're called. If you're listening, if you're paying attention to what's going on, and you've been, you know, learning the truth and being, you know, diligent in it, it says, walk in the spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. You say, for the flesh lust is against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one to another, to the other, so that you cannot do the things that you would. You want to walk in the spirit, but the flesh will have you not think about what these scriptures are saying. That's the spirit. You think about the Most High and what the Most High said we're supposed to do or not do in your actions. You know, he said, whatever you give, you take cheerfully. But a lot of you got problems because you have spirits. You have spirits. And you got Most High spirit is trying, and Mashayach spirit is trying to make you do right and follow him. But you got these spirits that's in your flesh that you won't allow to release. Anytime you're talking about going back to who you were in the world, then you are not in the truth. The truth is about changing continually. You know, you can't say this how I am because I've always been this way. And you've been in the truth for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You about this always been. You ain't, and you still that same way as you was before you came in the truth. Something wrong with you. Something wrong. That's that battle that we're looking at. That you haven't realized. People talking about they spiritual. You ain't spiritual. If you're relating to that, no, you're not. Listen, for the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary the one to the other, that so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. And hopefully, if you want to be doing what it is that the spirit would have you do, that the spirit is telling you in this lesson and all lessons that's being done, as far as dealing with how we're supposed to conduct ourselves in this world once that book is closed. Like I say, what's the word on you when the book is closed? That's what matters. Because when the book is over, everybody holier now. But when that book is closed, now you got to apply this in your life. That's what I said. But if ye be led of the spirit, ye are not under the law. You know why? Because you're going to be following the law. That's what he's telling you. Still going back to what? The law. You think about what's right from wrong. Oh, wow, man, the law said I can't do that, so you ain't doing it. But you just do something. Somebody say, oh, come on, let's do this here. You just follow suit with them, then what's that going to do? He say he'll get you before he get them. Because he ain't called them, but he called you. You'll have more, much is given, much is required. You have more accountable than them. Somebody that don't know. You can't follow somebody in the world. Somebody that don't know ain't in this truth, that don't know what this Bible is really talking about. Not whenever you call yourself being in the truth. Ain't no compromise in this. Point blank. But if you be led of the spirit, you are not under the law. Because you're going to be following the law. You know, it tell you, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery. You know you're supposed to be sleeping with another man's wife. You know you're not supposed to be having a husband and sleeping with another man. Adultery, fornication, dealing with all kind of idolatry and all kind of stuff, man. Sleeping around, uncleanness. You know, you're not supposed to come to the Most High before the Most High unclean. He told us to clean ourselves up, wash our clothes, he said. Then you're supposed to have no dirty clothes on. You're supposed to none of that when you come before the Most High. And we come before the Most High and we come together like this. Uncleanness, lasciviousness, all kind of sexual crap and all kind of, whatever, man. Just filthy and nasty stuff they're doing outside of a man and a woman. Idolatry, witchcraft, there it is, man. Hatred, variance, immolation, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envies, murderers, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not, I repeat, shall not inherit the kingdom of the Most High. You study all them words, man. But the fruit of the Spirit, when you're in the Spirit, first thing it says what? Is love. The fruit of the Spirit is love. What's love? We already defined love earlier, right? 2 John, the 6th verse. What's love? 2 John, the 6th verse. For this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that, as ye have heard, that from the beginning ye should walk in it. Keep his commandments. That's love. That's the first thing the fruits of the Spirit going to show you is love. You're not going to deviate from doing what the Most High say do and say you in the Spirit. Ain't no spirit. If you ain't doing what he say do, if you ain't following what it is that is told in the scriptures, man, period. How we got to be. What it say? Verse 22 of Galatians, the 5th chapter. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, it's keeping of the Most High's commandments, joy. You got joy? Or you all uptight? Peace? You got peace? Or you all bent out of shape about everything? Long suffering? Do you suffer long? Gentleness? Are you gentle? Goodness? Faith? Meekness? Temperance? Against such there is no law. Because the first thing it told you in love is the keeping of the commandments. So when you keep the commandments, ain't no law of judgment for it's going to come against you when you're doing what's right. And they that are Mashayach have crucified the flesh with their affections and lusts. See, when you're doing what the Most High tells us to do as far as the commandments are concerned, you You crucified the flesh with the affections, the emotions, and the lust. You see, you do away with that. You think about what's right because you're scared of the Most High. And you know the judgment could come on you. And that's why Mashayach said, he said this, y'all better recognize, man, it's real. I mean, you think you ain't got to fear him? What Mashayach Yahawashi said, um, Matthew 10th chapter, verse 28. And fear not them which kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him, that him is the Most High, which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell, put you in damnation. Straight up. Say, fear the Most High. Yeah, you better fear him. That's what we got to fear. Ecclesiasticus 24:24. That's the spirit of the Most High. You turn to go right there. All praise the Most High. It says, faint not to be strong in the Most High. By some of Mashayach Yahawashi. We see in the, well, that's LOD, but that's by some of Mashayach Yahawashi. Faint not to be strong by some of Mashayach Yahawashi, that he may confirm you. Cleave unto him. For the Most High Almighty is the power alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. Khan. Because he the one gonna save us, man. He the one's got to tell Mashayach Yahawashi, get up and do what I tell you to do, and go and judge and make war and bring salvation on this earth for my people, Israel. Point blank. All praise to the Most High. Let me read that again. Faint not to be strong by Shama Mashayach Yahawashi, in the name of the anointed Savior, going to the Most High on our behalf, that he may confirm you before the Most High. Cleave unto him. For the power almighty is the power alone, and beside him there is no other Savior. Khan. That's the Most High, y'all. 1 Kings 2. 1 Kings, the second chapter. First Kings, the second chapter. We start at verse 1. King David said, now the days of David, King David, drew nigh that he should die. And he charged Solomon his son, saying, because Solomon was the next king, was coming in line after King David. He said, I go the way of all the earth. Tell him what? Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. Hear what he said? He said, be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. Everybody ain't showing himself as a man. Everybody ain't strong. You know, it's a lot of weak men in this stage right now. That's the whole objective, is to fulfill what it says in Isaiah. You better understand. Isaiah 1, while you see it happening. In 9. This is a whole objective of this world that we in right now. And Most High said in Isaiah 1 and 9, he said, that's why he telling Solomon, it's Solomon his son, King David telling Solomon his son, go thy way. He said, be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man, right? And now we got to show ourselves as men, because he said in Isaiah 1 and 9, he said, except the Most High power of hosts, Most High power of army of angels had left us unto us a very small remnant. You know that? That's that remnant. A very small remnant. He said, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah. We've been just like this world wants you to be, man. Effeminate men, That's how they want you to be, effeminate. That's why he chose King Solomon. Well, he wasn't king yet. This King David telling his son Solomon, he's going to be the next king. And 1 Kings 2:2, I go the way of all the earth. Be thou strong, therefore, and show thyself a man. He said, and keep the charge of the Most High, thy power. Yours a personal possessive pronoun showing ownership, to walk in his ways, to keep his statutes and his commandments and his judgments and his testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, that thou mayest prosper in all that thou doest, and whethersoever thou turneth thyself, that the Most High may continue his word, which he spake concerning me, saying, if thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth with all their heart. Now we know what the truth is, class, right? We ain't sung it all day long. Psalms 119, 142, that righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. The laws of the Most High that he wrote with his finger is the truth. So he said, hey, this is what we got to do. If thy children take heed to their way, to walk before me in truth, in the laws that the Most High created and gave to us with all their hearts, with all our heart, with all our mind, and with all their soul, there shall not fail, so like thee, said he, a man on the throne of Israel. See? So Joshua, who brought us out of the wilderness, Joshua and Caleb, the only ones, the only men that he allowed to come out of the wilderness. 40 years we went around the wilderness, man. He killed everybody. We came out of Egypt captivity with 600,000 men. He killed everybody. Made sure that everybody was dead before he allowed us to go into the promised land. And they didn't see it. Remember the ones that went to buy it out, they were scared. Come back, oh, we can't take the land. Moses said, I'm going to give you that land. Like we hearing what he's saying right here. You know, and when you go back to the beginning of this lesson, some of us ain't going to have to go through all of the affliction that's going to happen in this world for Jacob's trouble, you know, and you don't believe it, you ain't going to see it. Come on. You better try and work your best to be the part of that. Better understand, true. Joshua 1:8. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. This is when we came out of the wilderness into the promised land, land of Canaan. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. But then when you meditating and doing the laws of the Most High, the commandments of the Most High, but then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. You see? Say, have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of a good courage. Over and over again. That's what we're looking at. He said, be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid. Most I don't give us that spirit of fear. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Most High thy power is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. You believe that? That's why Mashayach Yahawashi told us in Mark 11:22. Understand this. Everything he's saying, you better believe it. You better walk in it. Mark 11:22 said what? And the Mashayach would say, answering said unto them, Mark 11:22, have faith in the Most High. He said, have faith in the Most High. For verily I say unto you, verily is truly I say unto you, that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, whatever that problem is, be thou removed, get out of here, and be thou cast into the sea. That's a mountain going into the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart. Shall not doubt in your mind, because you got faith in the Most High. So you ain't no doubt, ain't no worrying. That cancels out your faith in the Most High. That's why he said, shall not doubt in his heart and your mind, but shall believe that those things which he said shall come to pass. Having faith in the Most High, he shall have whatsoever he said. Therefore I say to you that what things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. You praying and then you don't believe what you're praying for? What you praying for? What's the purpose of praying and you don't believe whatever that you pray for is going to happen? Make sense of that. The condition is, and when you stand praying, forgive. If you have aught against any, that your Father also, which is in heaven, may forgive you your trespasses, the things you've done wrong, the things we've done wrong. You got to stand, when you stand praying, you can't be sitting there with no attitude with someone. You got to learn. That's why I say, most of us say, whatever he give you, take out. That's spiritual, cheerfully. If you can't do that, you sitting here with holding a grudge against someone, you in sin. That's why this ain't going to work for you. All you that's got, attitude problems and, you got all this built up anger that you ain't let go. He said, hey, when you stand praying, forgive. He said, forgive. If you have a problem against any, that your Father also, which is in heaven, may forgive you your trespasses. And don't you ask for forgiveness of your sins? You should be. And you got to do the right thing when it comes down to what the Most High told us we have to do whenever you have problems with someone. You go to him and rectify that before you come before the altar and pray to him. If you know that it's a brother or sister that you got a problem with, you go to them and talk to them. They tell you that in Matthew 18:15 down. And the elder, you got to take 2 or 3 witnesses, take 3 with you, But if you do not forgive, he said, neither will your Father, which is in heaven, forgive your trespasses. So you have a Day of Atonement coming up. You say you're going to forgive you your trespasses, and you sitting here with honor against somebody when it tells you in the law, Leviticus 19, tell you in his law that he wrote with his finger, work of the Most High. Leviticus 19:1 and 2, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the congregation of children of Israel, see? Talking to us, we the congregation of the children of Israel, the 12 tribes of Israel, and said to them, don't say to no one else, ye shall be holy. I mean, you got to keep the laws of the Most High, commandments of the Most High, for I, the Most High, your power, am holy. He the one that wrote his laws and gave them to us. Verse 17, thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. He's supposed to be doing this. This will say, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge. That's what I want you to see. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Most High. That's the greatest commandment. The second greatest commandment is love thy neighbor as thyself. The first greatest commandment is love the Most High with all thy heart, mind, and soul, and strength. So all the moral laws, civil laws, dietary laws, ceremonial laws, and the sacrificial law was dealing with how we love the Most High with all our heart, mind, and soul, and strength, and how we love thy neighbor as thyself. What you're saying here? Well, I'm here because it says, thou shalt not have any grudge, bear any grudge against the children of thy people. And that's what he's telling you. You gotta let that go, man. Or the Most High, your Day of Atonement is null and void. You don't care about your Day of Atonement. You sitting here got problems and attitudes and hating on people, man, your own brothers, man, and sisters. Come on. They'll let it go. Hebrews 4:12. Hebrews 4:12. For the word of the Most High is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. You know, a two-edged sword is you cut them this way, you cut them that way. Any way you swing, you cut them. It's sharp on this end, sharp on the bottom, sharp on the top. Sharper than any two-edged sword. Piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit, and of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. I mean, with this word, man, you be surprised when you really going into it, and you got to deal with whatever it is you have to deal with. You go into this word, man, you just find, man, that there's power in this, man. It's spiritual power right here, Until you verse 14, man, it says, seeing then we have a great high priest that is passed into the heavens, of Mashayach Yahawashi, the Son of the Most High. Let us hold fast our profession. that he called us into, our job that we got to do, and letting our bodies be a living sacrifice for someone else, man, exalting someone else more so than ourselves, man. For we have not an high priest which cannot be touched with the feelings of our infirmities, no matter what we're going through. That he can feel it, man. But was in all points tempted like as we are. You hear that? So he went through it just like we got to go through it, yet without sin. He didn't sin. He was an example to show us it could be done. But if you think it can't be, then you're going to be sinning and try and justify it, 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. 2 Corinthians, the 10th chapter. We're going to look at verse 2 through 6. And we're all baptized unto Moses in the cloud in the sea. It's us. When the Red Sea was open, and we went across the Red Sea on dry ground, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them. And that rock was who we just talked about, Mashayach Yahawashi. But where we at? Verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, not knowing how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea, that Red Sea. Talking about coming out of Egyptian captivity and going across the sea, the Red Sea, on dry ground. But verse 4 is very important because most people don't realize, that's what Mashayach said, you got to know him in the volume. He come in the volume of the book. You got to know him more than just him being in the New Testament from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But understand, he in the volume of the book. Here he is, right here, leading us in the cloud by day, the chariot, which is a cloud by day, and a fiery chariot at night. And it says, verse 4 again. First Corinthians 10 and 4. And did all drink the same spiritual drink, for they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was a Mashayach Yahawashi. But with many of them, the Most High was not well pleased, but they were overthrown in the wilderness. Come on. He killed. It was 600,000 men that came out. Man, he killed 599,998 men and the women, and he allowed the children to go by. Now, these things were our examples to the intent we should not lust after evil things as they also lusted. You see? Made that calf. Made the Most High angry. He was going to kill everybody. He was going to wipe us all out. Except he said, I'll make a nation out of you, Moses. That's who I'm talking about. Is that who you know him as? John came back, John the Baptist came back. Moses said, I'll raise up some rocks to be some stones to be my people. Come on. He can. And so like that was 1 Corinthians 10. But it still fit in right where we had just left off of Mashayach Yahawashi being our high priest. And that was him as the top angel leading us in a cloud by day and a fiery chariot by night in the wilderness. And leading us out of Egypt and drowned Pharaoh and his chariots and so forth. That's our power. All right. So look at 2 Corinthians 10 and 2 through 6. So lucky about that. Say, but it was on point. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as if we walked according to the flesh. You see that? He said, I seek to be bold with these Gentile-minded spirits, Gentile-minded spirits that think that they walk according to the flesh. We read about the flesh, right? For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. Remember, the flesh is battling the spirit. There's a war between each other. They're contrary to each other. We just read that in Galatians 5, right? 17 down. So this is he's dealing with Corinthians, our brothers that's in Corinth and sisters in Corinth right now, calling themselves Corinthians, but he's still Israelites, but he's still saying, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through the Most High to pulling down of strongholds. You understand this? You pull on them strongholds, man. It's a big stronghold, like we just read in Isaiah 1 and 9. If the Most High didn't leave a remnant of us, we all be like in the Sodom and like a Gomorrah. Men be like women, man. Women be like men, all of that. Wickedness, evil, continually. Say, casting down imaginations, what people think. You've been taught wrong, so you're going to think wrong. I mean, you think wrong because you've been taught wrong. And you're going to speak wrong, and you're going to act wrong. Passing down these imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of the Most High, according to this word, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Mashayach Yahawashi, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience. See, that's the problem that people have. You hear what he said? And having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience. When your obedience is fulfilled, when you're doing what's right. You're doing what's right, then hey, you have a right to be a readiness to revenge all disobedience. Because everybody's supposed to be learning what it is that we're teaching as Israelites. When your obedience is fulfilled, when you're doing what's right, and you're not sinning against the Most High's word. That's why these nations, knowing that they're dealing with all kind of idolatry and everything, y'all need to be hearing this. This real. Jeremiah 12 and 16. I got to bring this out. The Spirit of the Most High showed me this. It's real, yo. Jeremiah 12:16. And it shall come to pass if they, these other nations, will diligently learn the ways of my people. Who's the Most High's people? Who's the my people? Matthew 2 and 6. Learn the ways of my people. Matthew 2 and 6. And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. See that? Defining who the my people are. My people Israel. Can't get no clearer than that. Like to be loved, Israel, my beloved, my people Israel. So now when you see my people, it means it's talking about the Israelites. So now, Jeremiah 12 and 16. And it shall come to pass. That's the future. Jeremiah is prophesying of the future. If they will diligently learn the ways of my people, what we're teaching as the Israelites, to swear by my name, Yahweh, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They said that's his name forever, memorial to all generations. Exodus 3:15, Exodus 3:16, Matthew 22:31, 32, Acts 3:13. The Most High liveth, as they taught my people to swear by Baal. And they taught the Most High people to swear by Baal by putting what Baal means in the Bible, and Baal means Lord. And here it is again. You see that? That's what it means. Lord. So, and they put it in the Bible because that's their power, BAAL. So they put their power in the Bible as LORD, and GOD, that's dog spelled backwards. You know, they created that word, and their number one deity, ZEUS, have a last name, AMEN. Alexander the Greek created that, made sure that was intact before he left up out of here. ZEUS. AMEN. That's his last name. ZEUS AMEN. That's his last name. And that's what how they taught us to call on LORD, like y'all doing. I mean, knowing that, I look up in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, it says Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as a scene of great future judgment. It gives scripture to back it up. He says she's the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not given any promise of mercy, which is not getting something you do deserve to get from the Most High. So yeah, that's why he's saying, as he taught my people to swear by BAAL. Yeah, y'all be calling on LORD all day. Praise the LORD. Y'all saying praise BAAL. Then shall they be built in the midst of my people. Like people want to know about these strangers, they're going to be built in the midst of the Most High's people, like we just read about earlier in the book of Isaiah. But just a condition, if it's another condition, they will not obey. Obey what? It says in verse 16, if they will diligently learn the ways of my people. He said, verse 17, but if they will not obey, you don't want to learn the ways that we're teaching us, the children of Israel. But if they will not obey, I will utterly pluck up and destroy that nation, said the Most High. That's why they're supposed to be learning what we teaching. He said in Jeremiah 3:15, he said, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. You see, that knowledge is to gather the proper information, to have the wisdom. That's how you apply this information that's been gathered, to have understanding, which is Job 28:28. And once you have this information and you applied it in your life, it'll help you to have understanding. And what is understanding here? And unto man, and unto man, Job 28:28. And unto man, he said, behold, the fear of the Most High, we've been going over earlier, to be afraid, to be scared of the Most High, that is wisdom. And we read that. Here it is again. The fear of the Most High, that is wisdom. The proper application of knowledge, right? And to depart from evil is understanding. You see, depart from evil is understanding. Depart from evil is understanding. So it's very important that we see this. And you got to look at the things that when you're doing right, hey, you're gonna receive a reward. Look at Matthew 25:14. Look at this. For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods. So he called his servants and he delivered unto his servants his goods, right? And unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. Everybody not able to do the same thing. And straightway took his journey. So he gave him 5, 2, and 1. So everybody not able to do many things. So he gave 1 5, he gave 1 2, and gave 1 1, and left. Then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents. So he doubled it. I mean, he got 10 total talents. He went and traded, did something with the 5, traded and got 5 more, got 10 now. And likewise, he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. So he got 4 instead of 2. He doubled his. But he that had received 1 went and digged in the ground, in the earth, and hid his power's money. See, he digged in the earth and hid his power's money. Everybody else and doubled theirs up. This one, because he gave orders to do something with him. He left. He did in the earth and hid his power's money. After a long time, he could have been dug it up and did something with it, but he do nothing. After a long time, we're waiting on a long time, the ruler of those servants cometh and reckon with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Power, thou deliver unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. So he got 10. So I got 5 more than the 5 that you gave me. His power said unto him, Well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy power. Right? Say, God, I gave you little things, so he's going to make you ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy power. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Master, excuse me, wow, Salakil, someone said that was second. That means LOR too. That's why you got to really, which is BAAL. And they put it in here, like I said, we got to work on not saying these words. Power, I'll just use that word, or ruler, either or. Thou deliver unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 more, 2 other talents beside them. His power said unto him, Well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy power. You see? That joy. Ain't gonna be no more crying. Ain't gonna be no sadness. If you go back and look at this lesson when we started, ain't gonna be no more, sorrowful people. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Power, I knew thee, that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not strawed. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast is thine, gave back his 1 talent. His power answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, lazy servant, thou knowest that I reap where I sow if not. This is Mashayach Yahawashi, and gathered what I have not strawed. Thou ought therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received mine own with usury, interest. take therefore the talent from him and give it unto him which have 10 talents. Now, this man got 10 talents. He said, take that one from him and give it to the one that had the most talents. For unto every one that have shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that have not shall be taken away even that which he hath. That's why it's very important, man, to work in this truth, man. And cast ye the unprofitable servant into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's what Mashayach Yahawashi said. They cast him into outer darkness. Gonna be weeping and gnashing of teeth because he ain't do nothing with the calling that he was called to do. You know, it's the highest calling you could be called in. Nothing more powerful than this. Nothing more powerful than the truth. Straight up. But people want to look at it some other way, but understand it's very important. Look at Matthew 18. And 6. Matthew 18 and 6. Matthew 18 and 6, it says, but whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me. That's why it's very important, man, to know how you rolling with people, man. Because he said, but whoever it is that shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck and that he would drown in the depth of the sea. So that's why you got to be aware of how you operate in this truth. You know, woe unto the world because of offenses. For it must needs be that offenses come. But woe to that man by whom the offense cometh. Say destruction to that man with whom the offense cometh. That's why you got to be aware of not being offensive. Very important. He said destruction. What will be destruction to that man by whom the offense cometh? He said, wherefore, if thy hand or thy foot offend thee, cut them off. Whatever you handling, wherever you walk into, whatever, stop doing it. Cut it off. He's saying, and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life, halt and maimed, rather than having 2 hands or 2 feet to be cast into everlasting fire. That's what he's telling you. And if thine eye, whatever you looking at, offend thee, pluck it out. Stop looking at it. He said, pluck it out. Pluck your eye out and cast it from thee. It is better for thee to enter into life with 1 eye, rather than having 2 eyes to be cast into hell fire. Man, that's serious, yo. That's why you got to be strong in the Most High. Take heed that ye despise not one of these little ones. Do you know which one is a little one? Most people don't even consider this. Take heed that you despise not one of these little ones. For I say unto you that in heaven, where the Most High and the angels dwell, they're angels. And it say angels say they're angels. These little ones have angels. They're angels. Do always behold the face of my Father which is in heaven. And what you think they're doing? Telling the Most High on you and offending them. Remember the spirits that's here. You got the spirits that's here. They're right here, waiting on the instructions of the Most High. Real for real. That's why you gotta be aware of it. The angels always beholding the face of the Most High. And here we are thinking that everybody's the same. Everybody said the little ones, he said, you better not offend one of these little ones that believe in him. Well, let me get that. I was speaking of this earlier. Go to James, the book of James. First chapter. I'm going to start at verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, which is proper application of the knowledge, that's the information that's been given, gathered together, let them ask of the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally, and to your sisters too, and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith. You gotta have faith in the Most High, nothing wavering. For he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. But let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Most High. So a double-minded man or woman is unstable in all his ways, our ways. So pray that the Most High will give you wisdom if you don't have it. Um, Look at Ephesians 6 and 10. Ephesians 6 and 10. Ephesians 6 and 10. Finally, my brethren, be strong by some Mashayach Yahawashi. And when you say in the LORD, which is shouldn't be there, LORD shouldn't be there, but they put it in there because that's BAAL. And we ain't dealing with that. Remember how they made, the Most I said they made his people swear by BAAL? There it is right there, LORD. Finally, my brethren, be strong in by Shama Mashayach Yahawashi and in the power of his might. Okay? You got to be strong in this, man. In the power of his might. Say, put on the whole armor protection of the Most High, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, who's running around trying to destroy everybody he can in these last days. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. So flesh and blood, we're flesh and blood. So you got things that, remember, Mashayach said, make things visible and invisible. These are the things that we fighting against. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. You see, against spiritual wickedness in high places. You got things that they're created on this, that the Most High created, that's visible and invisible, that's beyond our imagination, man. That's why we got to put on the whole armor of the Most High, protection of the Most High. Only way we can put on protection of the Most High is do what he say do. Fear him first and foremost, and keep his commandments. Be afraid of him. Fear within the Father has living power. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High. Again, what it say, verse 11? Put on the whole armor of the Most High. Come back and telling us again in verse 13. Wherefore take unto you, knowing these principalities in high places, these demons in high places, that's working with the ones that's in charge right now. Say, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that you may be able to withstand. When? In the evil day. We're in the evil day, y'all. Remember the Most High said, I'm going to my place till we acknowledge our offense and seek his face. And our affliction, we're going to seek him early. It's the evil day that we're in right now, that we got to look at this. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, the whole protection of the Most High. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Be afraid and be scared of him and do what he say do. Learn what he say to do and follow it to a T, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth. And we know that truth is the laws, statutes, commandments of the Most High, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. That's the laws of the Most High. That's the commandment of the Most High. Truth and righteousness. Straight up. In the New Testament. Psalms 119, 142. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Point blank. And righteousness, we know that's Psalms 119, 172. Come on. And we in the New Testament still telling us we got to keep the laws. You want protection of the Most High, you better keep his laws. He said, Psalm 119, 172, my tongue shall speak of thy word, for all thy commandments are righteousness. See? So you're not going to get away with it. I mean, you ain't going, you can go wherever you want to go. It's still going to be the same thing, man. Old, the new, the apocryphal, wherever you go, it's still going to be the same thing. Straight up. All praise and glory to the Most High. It says in Ephesians 6 and 13, to say, wherefore take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, the whole protection of the Most High, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girded about with truth, have your loins girded about with the laws, statutes, commandments of the laws of the Most High, the commandments of the Most High, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. That's still the commandments of the Most High. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet, that's how you think, your helmet of salvation, powers from the authority, and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High. See, we got to look at this, man. He's giving us clear instructions. First Peter's, the first chapter, verse 13. First Peter's 1 and 13. Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind. You know, we don't put on, he done told us to gird up our body with this truth, man. Put this truth in our body, the righteousness, the laws and the commandments in our body, the righteousness, the laws and the commandments in our body. Now he's saying, 1 Peter 1:13, wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, the way you think. Be sober, be focused, don't be no drunkard, and hope to the end for the grace that's getting something you don't deserve to get. That is to be brought unto you at the revelation of a Mashayach Yahawashi. Talking about your mind, man. Get your mind right. It's true. Psalm 121 and 7. Psalms 121 and 7. The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy spirit, man. You hear that? The Most High shall preserve thee from all evil. You follow what he say do? He say preserve you from all evil. He shall preserve thy spirit. But you gotta be rolling in the spirit with him. He Most High tell you in John 4:24, the Most High is a spirit. And they that worship him must worship him how? In spirit and in truth. We're going over the spirit, spiritual things, so you know how to operate and please him. Psalms 120 and 7. He said, I am for peace, but when I speak, they are for war. We for peace. When we speak, they for war. Why? Because that's in their nature, because they hate the truth. They hate the fact that we're able to come to the Most High in righteousness, in his truth, doing what he say do. They don't want us to do that. That's why their whole objective is to keep us away from the Most High, not doing what he say do, tell us to do. But you got some of us that's going to be diehard, going to continue to do it, regardless of however they feel or think it is this way, that way, whatever way. Look at King Solomon, the Wisdom of Solomon, the 7th chapter, verse 7. Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 7. Wherefore I prayed, and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. So I preferred her before scepters, before the rulership, ruling over everybody. Because King Solomon ruled over everybody for 40 years. And thrones and esteemed riches, nothing in comparison to her or her. Say, neither compared I unto her any precious stone. You know, Solomon was one of the richest kings ever to live. He said he didn't prefer over wisdom any precious stones, because all gold in respect of her is as little sand, and silver shall be counted as clay before her. So I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light. For the light that cometh from her never goes out. You hear that? So the light that comes from wisdom never goes out. All good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands. For the Most High, Solomon just asked the Most High to tell him how to judge the people. And the Most High said, oh, because he didn't ask for all the things that people normally ask for, he said, hey, he made him richer than everyone and gave him this wisdom. Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, verse 1. Ecclesiasticus, the 2nd chapter, verse 1. My son, if thou comest to serve the Most High, prepare thy soul for temptation. There to go to tempter right there. That's the devil. He said, you come to serve the Most High, prepare your spirit for temptation, for the devil. Like a Mashayach Yahawashi. When he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, who tempted him? The devil. No different. So prepare thy spirit for temptation. He said, for the devil. And what he's doing. Peter's 5 and 8. That's what he's doing. You coming to serve the Most High, he gonna be in your way, because a lot of you coming from worshiping the devil. He still ain't really never ever stopped worshiping the devil. But Peter's 5 and 8, it says, be sober again. Be focused, don't be no drunk, don't be no alcoholic. Be vigilant, because your adversary, your enemy, the devil, as a roaring lion, walking about, seeking whom he may devour. So when you come to serve the Most High, you don't have to deal with the devil. I'm not sure I had to deal with him. We got to deal with them. That's why I say you're going to be dipped in the fiery furnace of affliction. You know, you got to prove yourself. We say, whom resist steadfast. Resist that devil steadfast in the faith. But you ain't got faith in the Most High, who else you going to depend on? Yourself. You ain't capable of dealing with. You see, when the angel came to Daniel, fainted, man. Shoot. Whom resist steadfast, you better resist the devil in the faith that you got in the Most High, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. I'm telling you right here. In Ecclesiastes 2 and 1, my son, if you come to serve the Most High, prepare. That preparation is what you're getting. Yourself for temptation, for the devil. Who's the tempter? The devil. And what are you doing? He's trying to devour anybody he can, especially us, because we got next to rule forever and ever and ever. And we read it in Revelation 12 and 17. Coming down, those that keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashayach Yahawashi. They tell you what they're going to do. You know, you got to be strong, man. Can't be no weakness. That's why it says, set thy heart right. Set your mind right. Your heart is the mind, the way you think. Because your heart and your body just beats bloods to your organs and so forth. Set your heart, set your mind right, and constantly endure. So my shepherd said, he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. Remember we read that in Matthew 24 and 13? Set your heart right and constantly endure until the end. And make not haste in time of trouble. Don't run. You got a little trouble here. That's what people do. They get a little attitude here, and phew, they out of there. You ain't rolling with the Most High. Your foundation is the Mashayach Yahawashi. Your foundation with man, or how you feel. Come on. It said, what did he say? And make not haste in time of trouble. First thing something happens, stay out of there. Where you running to? This is the best place to be in this word. You know, rolling in the scriptures, doing what you're supposed to do, learning this here. Cleave unto him. When you roll out of away from the spirit of the Most High, you ain't cleaving to him no more. Cleave unto him, he said. Cleave unto the Most High. Mashayach Yahawashi. It said, and depart not away. Depart not away. That thou mayest be increased at thy last end, because you think he said you might be increased at your last end, not decreased, but increased at your last end. A lot of you, man, it's sad, but it's real, because seen a lot of people come and go, man. Time of trouble, something happened, they just they out of there. Because it was in it for man. It was following man. And no sooner man messed up, a man did whatever that they could say that made them feel a certain way. It was out of there, gone. Not even, I mean, it's unbelievable how to think that they would not be in this truth now. It's unbelievable. But I've seen it, you know. It's real. Isaiah 33:6. Isaiah 33:6. And they lost their minds. Not only left, but they lost their minds. They're not even in the right mindset anymore. Isaiah 33:6. Truth is real, y'all. This Bible is real, y'all. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High is his treasure. See, the fear of the Most High is his treasure. But wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. You want salvation, you better have to get some wisdom and knowledge of what this Bible is really talking about. And strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High is his treasure. Verse 5, the Most High is exalted. You hear that? The Most High is exalted. So how you going to think the Most High exalted if you ain't even talking about him being exalted? You ain't talking about praise the Most High. Make that make sense? Who the power? How is the power? Praise the Most High. The Most High is exalted. For he dwelleth on high. He hath filled Zion, the 12 tribes of Israel, with judgment and righteousness. Come on. Over and over again, we know that righteousness is the keeping of the Most High's laws. 2nd Ezra 15. 2nd Ezra 15. It's a powerful chapter, y'all. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people. We know my people are the 12 tribes of Israel. Matthew 2:6. The words of prophecy, the words of things that's going to come in the future, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Most High, and cause them to be written in paper. That's why we're reading it. For they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. You hear that? Did y'all hear that? All the unfaithful people shall die in their unfaithfulness. You ain't got faith in the Most High. He told us in Matthew 11:22, have faith in the Most High. All the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. Behold, said the Most High, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. You know that wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. He said he's gonna bring plagues on this earth. That's why you got all these plagues that people dealing with. Plagues of people, diseases that people got and can't even get rid of them. All kind of madness is going on right now, man. That's why it's very important that we keep our spirits and our souls and our bodies together, man, with the Most High. Can't exalt him enough. Say when you exalt him with all your strength. He said, I will bring plagues upon the world, sword and famine and death and destruction. For wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Therefore said the Most High, talk to him, Most High, talk to us. Say, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. He said, ain't holding his tongue no more as touching the wickedness that's happening in this world today, which they profanely, unholy commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood cry unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. That's in go to Revelation 6. I think that's Revelation 6 and 10. So they complaining to the Most High continually. Revelation 6 and 10. Let's see the best one. Yeah. We start verse 9. It says, and when I opened the fifth seal, prophecy, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of the Most High and for the testimony which they held. A lot of, they killed Mashayach Yahawashi first and foremost. They killed the prophets. Israel killed the prophets. They killed the apostles. They left. We got Revelation because they Most High had to have this book written, so he let John be on the island of Patmos between 90 and 96 AD to write Revelations. So we have it here. And they cried with a loud voice. Those that were slain for the word of the Most High, they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Most High, holy and true, dost thou not judge and revenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Let them know, man. Avenge the blood of those that killed them. And white robes were given unto every one of them. And it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season, until their fellow servants also were, and their brethren that should be killed as they were, to be fulfilled. So it's so many that's going to be killed as they were for the word of the Most High that they hold. That's just the way it is. And those the white robes defined in Revelation 19 and 18, no, 8, excuse me. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white. For the fine linen is the righteousness of saints, you see. So they were righteous in the eyes of the Most High. That's the righteousness of saints. This is what they're saying. Look at verse 2, Revelation 19 and 2. For true and righteous are his judgments, for he hath judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, and hath avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. You hear that? He's judging the great whore that caused everybody to commit a fornication. Right here where we at, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication, lying to the people, exalting themselves as the Most High, of Mashayach Yahawashi. going back to 2 15. But say it again. I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely, unholy commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. We see what they're saying. When you going to avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? He said, just hold your peace. Chill for a minute till all the ones that's going to be died the same way that died by Mashayach Yahawashi be killed as they were. And therefore said the Most High, I will surely avenge them. That's the answer. I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. That's where we at right now, in the land of Egypt. And we say in Deuteronomy 28:68, Moses shall send you into Egypt again with ships. Egypt means captivity, slavery, and bondage. It's the last captivity we ought to be in. Hallelujah. Psalms 44 and 20. Psalms 44 and 20. If we have forgotten the name of our power, or stretched out our hands to a strange idol, shall not the Most High search this out? For he knoweth the secrets of the heart. Yeah, for thy sake are we killed all the day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter. But awake, why sleepest thou, O Most High? Crom of another Yahweh. Cast us not off forever. Wherefore hidest thou thy face and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? He said, hey, Hosea 5:15, see, I'm going to go to my place till we acknowledge our offense and seek his face. In our affliction, we're going to seek him early. Wherefore hidest thou thy face and forgettest our affliction and our oppression? For our soul is bowed down to the dust. Our belly cleaveth unto the earth. That's the lowest state, y'all. You know, we talking about Krom Yasharallah. King David see our condition. He say, arise for our help. Krom of Yahweh, for our help, and redeem us for thy mercy's sake. It's gotta happen. Or we can forget. Real for real. He our only hope. That's why he's saying, Krom of Yahweh. You better learn to say that. Mashayach Yahawashi, though. You sitting on the right hand side of the Most High. Most High sitting on his throne. He gonna stand up, tell the Mashayach Yahawashi to stand up and go and judge and make war. That's the order of things. The Most High of Mashayach Yahawashi, man and woman, not us. You know, can't put ourselves before him. We started all that. We come before him? No. Deuteronomy 32, 43. Deuteronomy 32, 43. Rejoice, O ye nations, with his people, for he will avenge the blood of his servants and will render vengeance to his adversaries and will be merciful unto his land and to his people. We know who his people are. Go to Exodus 18 and 1. You're going to Because everybody want to bring everybody else in there. You don't see everybody else. All I see is Israel. His people. Who is people? Exodus 18:1. When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, this is Moses' father-in-law, Jethro, heard all that the Most High had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and for Israel, his people, and for Israel, his people, and that the Most High had brought Israel out of Egypt. But you see, who is the Most High's people? Israel, his people. You see how that answered that question right quick? Through the scriptures. That's how we get understanding. So when you see his people, it's talking about the Israelites. See, my people is talking about the Israelites. Period. So going back to 2 Ezra 15, verse 9. And therefore said the Most High Power, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and smite Egypt. That's talking about America. Smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. So we, our majority over here in this Western Hemisphere, we ain't no Egypt over there in Africa. We right here. It was so, Most High said in Deuteronomy 28:68, the Most High shall bring thee into Egypt, which means captivity, slavery, and bondage. That Egypt, again, how? With ships. It says, verse 12, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. That's why he told us. You better hear what the Most High said. Revelation 18:4. He gave us clear instructions. But some people, they don't hear. They don't hear to it. They're going to do whatever they do their own way. If I say you can go to hell any way you want to, damnation any way you want to, don't try to take me with you. Those that are trying to make it to the kingdom. That's what Most High told us clearly in Revelation 18:4. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, this was the voice of the Most High saying, what? Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins. You hear that? And that ye receive not of her plagues. Most High gonna plague this place, man. Like we reading about prophecy. What did he tell us in 2 Ezra 15, verse 1? Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people who are the Israelites, 12 tribes of Israel, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh, Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, and Issachar. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people, the Israelites, the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, said the Most High. You see? He's saying, Revelation 18:4, talking about these plagues he bring on this earth. He said, I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, the 12 tribes of Israel, that ye be not partakers of her sins. That you know that we got to be righteous in the eyes of the Most High, to the best of our ability, follow his commandments. Everybody got to follow his commandments. You got to do what he say do, or you're going to perish, point blank. And all nations supposed to learn what we're teaching, what I'm teaching, according to these scriptures, man. Or he going to say he's going to pluck up and destroy that nation in Jeremiah 12:16 and 17. Simple as that. I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people. What's wrong with being righteous? That's my problem. That people is like, whatever, man. It's like, what's wrong with being righteous? Answer that. Think about that. What's wrong with being righteous? What's wrong with doing what the Most High said we're supposed to do? Because every time we talk about we under the law, people say, oh, we must have faith in Christ. He didn't sin. No, did he sin? No, he didn't sin. Then they hear the first thing they're going to do is still going back and forth about some faith Mashayach Yahawashi that did not sin. And you got no faith in him. That's why I said I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her sins. But they ain't teaching nobody how not to sin, but how to sin. And that you receive not of her plagues, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. Better hear what he's saying. It's going down. And they know it's going down. They know that it's crumbling before our face, and we got next forever. All we got to do is get close to the Most High. Do what he say do. Because these plagues are here. Look, 2 Ezra 15:11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. He gonna get him a name, y'all. Most of them gonna get him a name, and will destroy all the land thereof. He's gonna destroy this land, y'all. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. The Most High bringing this upon it. They that till the ground, the farmers, shall mourn, for their seed shall fail through the blasting of hell, and with a fearful consolation. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Destruction. Woe mean destruction. Say the farmland, that's why even Bible says it's going to be a famine. He's letting you know right there, going to be famine. He said, woe to the world, destruction to the world, and them that dwell therein. That's where we dwelling at. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. The sword and destruction draweth near. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. You seeing this manifesting right now. We ain't did nothing. But when they gonna come against us, we ain't the ones doing them. They had a mass shooting again thing today. Cat was shooting at ICE. Killed I think 2 of the detainees. I mean, it's on what it's gonna take. Then they're gonna come and blame us. We the problem. But we ain't did nothing. But it's telling you, ain't nothing you can't stop it. It's gotta happen. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, near, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. My, their swords is guns in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men. We see this now. And invading one another, gonna be coming to people's houses. They shall not regard their kings, no prince, ain't gonna care about what nobody say. And the course of their actions shall stand in their own power. Gonna stand in their power. They're gonna be doing what they want to do. But see, people running because they don't want to hear prophecy. They just want to continue to run around like a chicken with his head cut off in this big plantation of America, and think ain't nothing gonna happen. He tell you what's gonna happen. It say a man's desire to go into a city. This martial law right here. What we just read was racial wars. Every man's hand against his neighbor. This martial law. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Wherever you at, you better be ready. You in your car, you better have some in your car to survive. You in your house, you better have some in your house to survive. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Something that you desire in another city, ain't gonna be no Amazon delivering nothing. Ain't gonna be no Walmart delivering nothing. No drugstores delivering nothing. Whatever you have, you better have whatever you have and whatever you need in your city. Because I know it don't take but a couple of hours to destroy a store. I done seen that when they had the riots. But because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled. The houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Straight up. This prophecy to come. He said prophecy. Prophesy. He said a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Ain't got no pity upon the neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, rob everything they have because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Hear that? Lack of food. How much a loaf of bread costs? How much it costs to buy some flour to make some bread? This is how serious this is. Because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. It says, behold, said the Most High, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the east, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn the things that they have done to them. See, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, as they do yet this day unto the 12 tribes of Israel, so will I do also. You hear that? As they do unto us, the Most High says, so will he do unto them. They concerned about us, no, they got to be concerned about the Most High. Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also, and recompense in their bosom. Said the Most High power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, my right hand shall not spare the sinners. Y'all talking about the Most High love the sinner, and he hates the sin. My right hand, that's a Mashayach Yahawashi. He on the right hand side of the Most High. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. We've heard that a few times. They crying about the ones that even shed the innocent blood on the earth, crying to the Most High. He's telling you no, just he gonna take care of business. The fire has gone forth from his wrath and have consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. You hear that? Sinners, you that break the Most High's laws and you ain't got to follow his commandments, you're going to be like straw in the fire. That's what he's telling you. Woe, destruction to them that sin and keep not my commandments, said the Most High. He's screaming at you. He said, destruction to you, every last one of you that sin, that break his commandments and keep not my commandments, said the Most High. I will not spare them. You know what he said? You a sinner. He said, I'm not going to spare you. Go your way, ye children, from the power. Defile not my sanctuary, for the Most High knoweth all them that sin against him. He wrote those laws with his finger. He know all them that sin against him. And therefore delivered he them unto death and destruction. When we read in Matthew 10:28, so don't fear him that can kill the body, but fear him that can kill the body and then cast you into hell. Damnation. Fear him. Yeah, fear him. That's the Most High. For the Most High knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivered he them into death and destruction. But now the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Woo. Now what you think? You gonna do whatever you want to do still, and think the Most High is gonna be all right with you, like y'all teach in these churches? What is sin? 1 John 3 and 4. This is the definition of sin. Whosoever committed sin transgresses also the law that y'all say that we not under. So sin is the transgression of the law that the Most High wrote with his finger. But understand, Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High. Be afraid, be scared of the Most High. And keep his commandments. But this is the whole duty of man. The whole duty of man is to fear the Most High. Be afraid, be scared of the Most High. But this is the whole duty of man, and keep his commandments. For the Most High, while Mashayach Yahawashi shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing. Ain't nobody getting away with nothing. Whether it be good, whether you kept the commandments of the Most High, you kept the laws of the Most High, or whether it be evil, you didn't keep the commandments of the Most High. It's going to come into judgment. So hopefully, you'll take heed and go back and look at this lesson or share it with someone. Give me a like, share it, publish it, and hit the bell so that you know whenever we coming on, I'm coming on again on the Sabbath night. It will be on again, street teaching at 1:30 p.m., Pacific time, and 7 p.m. on the Sabbath night. With that, I say, Kwam Abanah Yahweh, Kwam Mashayach Yahawashi, and Kwam Yasharala. I'm out. The water for joining me. Shalom.